Hello everyone, welcome to this week's webinar where we're going to talk about the 3 keys to actually hitting the ball solid. This webinar is brought to you by Medicus Golf and KX Golf, and we're here at beautiful Tiffany Green's Golf Club in Kansas City, Missouri, where we teach out of. You know, we get a lot of questions, and a lot of people say, you know, I'm just not hitting the ball solid. So ask yourself this question: have you gone out and played or on the range, and have you struggled with hitting it solid? If you have, we're going to give you 3 key pieces to help you do that. So let's talk about the first one, which is the weight, or steady head, and then the second one is going to be the weight or pressure forward. And the third one is going to be what we call the inline club shaft or flat left wrist. So let's talk about steady head first. So we're going to give you a couple of thoughts, a couple of drills, and we'll tell you why that steady head is important. I mean, let's talk about why it's important. If your head is moving off the ball, in front of the ball, too much down and too much up, what that's going to do is it's going to create inconsistent low point. And that low point is you're striking the ball just prior, then the club immediately moves to low point, which is, you'll notice it's all in line at this point, and then it moves rapidly past that point. So if your head's moving all around, that makes it extremely difficult. So Brenndan, why don't you talk a little bit about some drills that you do to monitor a steady head?
Yeah, one thing that I'll have some students do is, let me grab an alignment rod here. I'm just going to use one for right now. Is you can lay an alignment rod down on the ground, and you just want to set up to it to where you're right. It's right in the middle of your stance. And when you do this, I'm going to choke up on this club so I don't hit Chuck here, but when I make a backswing, I want to feel as if my head is staying right on top of that rod. So if I do this, if you do this, you'll really get a sense of where your eyes are in relation to that rod on the ground. Because if my head goes this way, I can really sense that my head's moved off the rod on the backswing, or even if it goes in front of the rod.
Right.
For sure.
So perception-wise, if you're doing it with the golf ball, right, and you swung up, so go ahead and let's set this ball even to where that stick is. Move this stick back just a little bit. So the perception would be, if you went to the top and your head moved to the right, you might see a lot of the back of the golf ball.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's say you move to the left in the backswing. Now you're starting to see the front of the golf ball, right? So we want to keep looking right down, not exactly on top, but just slightly on the back side of it.
Right. Yeah, and you could, take the logo of the ball, and you could kind of position the logo there to, have a reference point there.
And you could also do some shadow boxing. I mean, if you had the sun behind you and the shadows right here, you can just make practice swings and see if your head's moving all around.
Yeah, and that's a great drill, especially for people that have a tendency to drop or raise their head up, so they can really see, the vertical motion of the head for sure.
Right, and one of the drills that we like to do, and we call it a wall drill, we call it a door jam drill, but go ahead and get set up. And you can do this a couple of different ways. The way that I personally like to do it, you'll see people putting the shaft on the outside of somebody's head like this. Go ahead and take it up. And now they can actually push a little bit forward, and you may not notice this, but now if I put it on the back of their head, okay, let me stand on this side. I put it on the back of Brenndan's head. Now he goes up. His thought is to keep his head against that rod. All right. So you can do that. You can have a friend hold up a club for that matter. So again, the steady head helps us with controlling that low point. Let's talk about now how we want to get the pressure or the weight forward. Again, you can do this with a dowel. Okay, go ahead and get set up, Brenndan. You can just take one of these rods and you can stick it right here, just outside your left hip. And as it goes to the top, you want to make sure that this is coming into that and pushing it slightly. So that's moving your pressure or your weight pretty forward.
Yeah.
You can do it at home in front of a mirror. And now I can just take a chair, all right, kind of do the same thing. Just put that chair basically against your leg right here, or the outside edge of your hip. Once you get to the top, feel that pressure pushing this. You notice that I'm pushing from the lower, I'm not moving the upper. So it's here, feel that pressure go this way. A good drill that we talked about just last week at the Top 100 Teacher thing, Jason Sutton, a real good friend of mine, they call him the Guru. He's up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jason has a drill where he takes everybody, and once he gets to the top, to feel that pressure, when they start to swing down, he wants them to turn their hip even farther. So turn it even farther. And when you do that, you're going to feel the pressure really go into that left leg.
Yeah.
So that's another way to sense that pressure or that weight forward. You have to remember that weight and pressure are not the same except statically. Once you're moving, it's more about the pressure and a whole lot less about the weight.
Exactly.
So, we're fortunate to have a couple of things here, and one of them is called a body track. It measures the pressure side to side, front to back. So we get players on there, we can see exactly how much pressure they're putting into whatever side and where it is on their foot.
Yep.
So we have this thing, I'll go back to the Steadihead for a second. We have a device called the Steadihead Trainer, and you can find it up at Golf Shop Central. And it's a little black device that has a curve that sits over the top of your golf ball. And you can stick it in the ground, or if you're on mats in a tee. And as you go up, it gives the same thing as we talked about. If your head moves over, the ball that sits underneath that black piece is going to move. If your head moves forward, it's going to move. If it moves this way or this way, it's going to change that. So you can see that up at Golf Shop Central. We also have an impact board that will help you get your pressure over farther, so it's you're striking ball first and ground second. All right, so now let's talk about the inline or the flat left wrist. You have a lever. Go ahead and set up, Brenndan. So you have a lever that extends from the left shoulder all the way down to this club head. So when this is in line, which means that's how the shaft and arm are forming one line, that's one really long lever. If you throw the club head in front of your hands and attempt to scoop it, you can now see you're only using this part of that lever. All right, so that's not only a power loss, but it gets the face pointed more left.
Yeah.
All right, so the weight forward and the steady head influence that downward angle of attack, and the influence having the hands forward. The other key about this is how the clubs are actually designed. Right? I mean, they all have a leading edge and they all have a trailing edge. And when you set this up just like this, you'll notice that the grip end is in front of the club face. So the manufacturer's telling you that this is how it should be at impact.
And that's a very important key that people, if people understood that element just based on how clubs are designed to hit a ball,
right,
then that hopefully will make the light bulb go off.
Right, because they're not designed to do this, right? I mean, we have people all the time say, all my irons go the same distance.
Yeah.
Well, my response is, and why are you carrying them all around? Just take one club. I mean, if you're doing this, you're taking your 6-iron and turning it into an 8. If you're doing this, which is in line, you have your 6-iron. If you do this, which is still out of line, but this is a lot better than this, you're turning the 6 into a 5 or even a 4.5-iron.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why the guys and gals hit it on tour hit it so much further than the average player.
Yeah.
They're controlling their low point. They've got the pressure forward. Their head's not moving all around, and they have the handle leading the club head to impact.
Yes.
So let's do another little drill here. So you can set up a for a flat left wrist drill. You can set up another one of these driveway markers or a towel or a club head or a cover. And if you set up to this now, all right, so now if you go back and you hang on your back side, hang out on your right side and bring the club down to impact, you notice that it's really difficult. It's going to hit this and hit the ball, hit the ground right behind the golf ball. So now if we go up and we move the weight forward, and now we move the handle forward, now we miss this and strike the golf ball. So those are some really good drills and very simple to do that you can work on to create better impact, better stability with your body, and maintain that steady head. Yeah. So, anything else you want to add to this one?
No, I mean, like you said, these are the 3 big keys,
right,
that a lot of golfers need to get and stop worrying so much about other things and
right,
positions. If you can get these down first, you'll be amazed at what happens just on direction and things like that. A lot of other pieces to kind of take care of themselves.
Right. So if you're not hitting it solid, it's always going to fall within one of these 3. Mm-hmm. Right. It could be one of them. It could be 2 of them. It could be all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to know for sure is by watching your flight, watching your divot pattern, And then standing in front of a mirror and rehearsing, don't look in the mirror, but take it down to impact and look and see what you look like. If you look like this, your weight's back here, and the handle looks like this, then push it forward, push it forward. Get a sense of that.
Yep.
You can also use an impact bag or a pillow. You know, this is something you can take up and swing down into. You don't have to hit it hard, right? Another really good drill is to just go waist high and have a golf ball down here. Just go waist high, hit the ball, and come back to where you took it back to. So you don't stop. You're here, hit the ball, rebound, and come back. That'll get you a sense of motion and how that thing's traveling back and forth. So I know we have a couple of questions, so let me go up here and see what they are. All right, so we have a question from Lisa. I hear the word chin up when swing. Can you demo it? Thanks. Well, Lisa, chin up simply means when you set up, you got choices. You can bury your chin, you can just let it be natural, or you can point it up here like this. You just want it to be natural. You don't want to stick it down here, and you don't want to put it up. If you put your chin up like this, you can't see the golf ball. You need to look down so you can see your eyes, so your eyes are traveling right at this golf ball. If you get down too low like this, and I'll use this as an example, okay, my eyes right now are fixated at that golf ball. If I go like this, they're well inside the line. If I go like this, chin up, they're actually out here. I have to look down to the bottom of my eyes. So just let your head hang naturally, all right? There's another question from Lisa. Brenndan, you can handle this one. Sometimes the ball goes left. Does that mean I do not have weight transfer on left leg?
Well, Lisa, if the ball's going left, then, you know, if it's more of a pull, straight pull, the ball's starting left, then there's a very good possibility you don't have enough weight forward. And again, if we take it to the top of the backswing here, now if I just simply turn, you'll see, let me do it from this side so you can see a little better. So if I just simply turn, you'll see how my hands and the club, everything's working out prematurely here. So if you simply just get to the top of your backswing and then think, okay, I need to slide my lower half more left. So if I slide my lower half left and let my hands and arms just kind of drop, that's going to help get the club on a little bit better path. Right. So, and you know, the other thing too is, you know, club face position too, so most likely the face is probably a little bit shut. So again, you can use an alignment rod, practice on where that ball is starting, and see if you can't get some shots to start to the right of that alignment rod. Yeah, actually, we did a webinar on that a couple of weeks ago. It's actually up on the Medicus webinar on YouTube. It's under practice drills. We talked about controlling that club face. I mean, if this is my target line and my ball is starting left, then there's two things. If it's starting left and staying left, then I know my club face is pointed left at impact. I also know my path is going too far left through impact. So if you look at that webinar, Lisa, that'll help you a little bit too. We've got a couple other questions here. We like questions. We love questions. I've just got to scroll down here to see them. Okay, this one is, again, from Lisa. Lisa, you are quite the little active girl today. For the downswing, should the right arm, is the right arm more active than the left arm? In other words, is the right arm active and the left arm passive? Well, that can depend. Yeah, that's a really good question. That's a really great question. Some people really want to feel like their right arm is very, very active in the downswing. And if it's really active, then the left arm will be more passive. You also have to remember that if you're just pulling with the left arm, which is really not what you do in golf. If you pull to the left arm, you find out you get the arms separated from the body pretty quickly. I'll do it from this angle. This is getting separated pretty much. What happens is the right shoulder moves down plane while you're resisting this, and that keeps the upper part of the left arm against the chest. So it feels like you're pulling with the left arm, but you're really not. Yeah, you're actually using the right shoulder to get that feel. Exactly. So for most of your short game shots, you do want to feel chipping in some pitches. If you're hitting a pitch that's more
this way, a driving pitch, then yes, it's much more right arm with a little bit of pivot. If you're using more of a finesse pitch, that's actually a lot more hands and wrists, and the arms don't play a great role in that at all.
Yeah.
So the answer is, it depends on what you're trying to do. It can work both ways.
Yeah, that's a really good question there.
All right, let's see if we have any more here. Okay, I think that is it for our questions. Good. All right, so again, we're going to work, if you're not hitting it solid, you work on those three key areas: the steady head, the weight, pressure forward, and the inline club shaft. If you're having directional issues, that's something else totally.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just to try to hit the ball solid.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we want to thank everybody for being here, and next week's webinar, we will do, well, that one we showed you how to hit it solid. Now we'll tell you about how to control the golf ball in next week's webinar. All right? Till then, go Chiefs, Red Friday.
Don't forget about the Royals.
Go Royals.
Go Royals.
Let's kick some booty. Sorry there, Diana. I know you're a California girl, but we got to get the Royals going here. All right, thank you all. See you.